What's up, everybody? We're back again in the Hufflepuff common room. I had to think about that for a minute. Well, we're actually in the dorms in Hufflepuff. And we're going to do a little exploring and just kind of see what holds in this part 2 of our Let's Play of Hogwarts Legacy. I am Jess with H Wizard Wares. First, I just kind of want to walk around in here for a minute because I've never played as a Hufflepuff, so I think it's kind of cool to see a little teacup there. See what they got going on. The room is obviously very different than the Gryffindor room, which I'm used to. A whole different kind of style of dorm here. But it's really interesting just to like walk around and see what they have versus what it's like in Gryffindor. This one I feel like is more a little eclectic in a way. Like it just feels like it's a little more laid back than the giant 4-poster beds in the Gryffindor dormitories. So let's move out of the dorm and into the common area. It also gives like mad Hobbit vibes with the the round doors and everything and the earthy tones. Wow, this is really cool. All the nature and stuff in this common room. I actually like low-key I'm a Gryffindor, but high-key I kind of like this common room like a lot. So that's definitely really cool. I've never, like I said, I've never seen this one. I haven't watched anybody play as a Hufflepuff either, so it's just really cool to see all this. We'll go ahead and maybe unlock this. Maybe not yet. Maybe I have to talk to all the people first in the common room. But super cool earthy vibes in here. This is kind of the vibes we're moving later this year. This is kind of the vibes I want in my house, actually, so... Alright, let's see.
I suppose some introductions are in order.
Alright, let's go introduce ourselves to some people here.
Oh, hello. She's awfully regal, isn't she? Is that your owl? I don't know whose she is. Likely one of the Hufflepuffs around here. Owls choose their own company anyway. Wait, you're the new 5th year. Quite the dramatic entrance you made. Can't imagine wanting to call attention to yourself, especially since everyone will be watching to see how much you already know.
I do have a lot to catch up on, but I'm not really worried about it.
I'm really not worried. I'm sure I'll be fine. Nevertheless, it is rather unusual. You must feel terribly out of place. Of course, presumably, as a hard-working Hufflepuff, you'll prove yourself in no time. I'm hard-working too, as you might suspect. But sometimes I think I should have been a Ravenclaw. I've rather a searing wit. At least people have always told me so. I'm Lenora, by the way. Lenora Everly. Well, mustn't keep you. You've such a lot to do.
This is an interesting question to ask, because obviously the Sorting Hat takes into account your wishes. And that kind of played into the gameplay in the last video where we got to decide at the end if that was the house that we wanted to be sorted in based on the questionnaire or if we wanted to change our choices. So I kind of want to see what she has to say about this.
Do you really think you should have been in Ravenclaw? Well, my brothers were. They both work in the ministry now. I suppose you could say that wit runs in the family. My aunt was a Gryffindor, though, and I've always had plenty in common with her. Determination, valor, daring. The old Sorting Hat was spoiled for choice with me.
Interesting. So that's kind of a cool perspective.
It was nice meeting you, Lenora. Of course. Adieu.
Alright, so let's see what else we got going on. Oh, there we go. Our house ghost there, Fat Friar. He's glitching out a little bit. Awesome. We love to see a glitch. Alright, so we gotta talk to this person over here in front of this really nice fireplace. I like this like little dancing plant over here. That's neat. Okay, Fat Friar's just like following me around. Wicked. Alright, let's see what's up over here.
Oh, Uncle, this doesn't sound like you. Something's wrong. Oh, hello there. You're the new Hufflepuff, yes? I'm Adelaide. Pleasure to meet you.
Nice to meet you too. Is everything all right?
Oh, yes. I'm just a bit distracted. Letter from my uncle. So tell me, I've been hearing all sorts of rumors. Were you really nearly gobbled up by a dragon?
Yeah, that's accurate.
That one is true. Not the typical start to a new school.
That's dreadful. Well, I'm glad you made it here alive. Well, anyway, I imagine you have lots to do. I hope you have a wonderful first day.
I'm gonna ask about her uncle, kind of see what that storyline brings.
Are you sure everything is all right with your uncle?
Oh, yes, he travels for work, always busy. I'm sure he just wrote it in a rush. Nothing to worry about.
Okay, so that's it
Thank
for
you,
talking to
Edward.
her.
Be seeing you.
Of course, and good luck.
Alright, then we got one more over here.
Arthur's got you. It's all right. You don't need to be frightened, gentle cat.
I can't quite reach.
Come on, you went that way.
Hope they can catch him. Big castle for a student to get lost in, let alone a cat. I'm sure you'll find your way all right. I mean, it can be a bit overwhelming at first. I still get lost sometimes. Welcome to Hufflepuff, by the way. Really glad to have you in our house. I'm Arthur.
Thank you. Nice to meet you. Was that your cat?
No, one of the first years, I think. Don't have any pets of my own, unfortunately. My mother doesn't think too highly of them, especially magical ones.
That's a shame.
I'm sorry to hear that. I think magical beasts are rather incredible.
Best thing about coming to Hogwarts. Nifflers, glumbumbles, bowtruckles. I thought they were only pictures in books before. Well, Dad did bring home a puffskein once. Mum was furious. Anyway, I better go make sure the first years caught that cat. Don't want them to be late on their first day.
Well, I guess this is not really as interesting of a question, but I'm gonna ask it anyway, just because I've not done the Hufflepuff storylines yet.
Have you ever had a pet, Arthur?
No. My mother's a muggle, and as soon as the puffskein that my dad brought home stuck its tongue up her nose, it went right back to the shop.
Yeah, that wasn't super interesting,
Nice
but
meeting
okay.
you, Arthur. And good luck finding that cat.
Thank you. Try not to get lost in the castle yourself.
Awesome.
Is
Okay.
the new Hufflepuff out of bed yet?
So Professor Weasley is gonna take us around the castle here for a minute to get us started for our first day. Let's see. Let's look around upstairs real quick, see what's up there. Oh, no? Okay. Not going upstairs, I guess. Interesting. Don't know what that's about. I'm sure we'll find out. Alright, let's get out of here. Let's go talk to Professor Weasley. Oh, perhaps the girls' dorms are upstairs, and that's why it won't kick you out, and the boys' ones are in the back. That makes sense, actually. Alright.
Good morning. I trust you're ready for your first day at Hogwarts?
I've been dreaming of this day for a long time. Can't believe I'm here.
Well, you are here. Make the most of it. You only have one first day at Hogwarts. Now, in light of your unique situation, joining us as a fifth year, you'll need to catch up with your classmates and not fall behind. Especially as you'll be expected to complete your OWLs at the end of the year.
OWLs. Owls.
Yes, your ordinary wizarding level exams. They will determine what type of career you can have when you leave here. After much discussion with the headmaster and the Department of Magical Education at the Ministry, we've devised something extraordinary to ensure your success. Here you are.
Well, that's really cool.
What is it?
It is a wizard's field guide. It will help you to keep track of what you are learning so that you master all that's expected of a fifth year. You would be wise to take full advantage of this exceptionally valuable resource.
Thank you, Professor, but what do you mean it will keep track of what I'm learning?
Perhaps seeing it in action will answer any questions you may have. Walk with me and we shall put it to the test.
Alright. Alright, so let's follow Professor Weasley through the castle here for a few minutes.
This way. The guide will give you opportunities to practice your magic and educate yourself about wizarding lore.
So for those of you who don't know, the Hufflepuff common room is near the kitchen, and the kitchen is behind that portrait there, so that's kind of a cool,
Will also train you to be alert to your surroundings.
cool
Keep up.
little piece of information. Sorry, Professor Weasley, I'm like totally not listening to you. Just already muffing around.
Peeves Escape's the best one ever!
Simply cast Revelio on it, and we'll see what the guide says.
Alright, so House Elf Recipe Book Guide Pages. Rumored to contain some of Helga Hufflepuff's original creations, this book holds a collection of Hogwarts students' favorite recipes over the centuries. Some dishes, like pickled dirigible plums, are likely an acquired taste. Interesting. So we've just unlocked the field guide pages option. So if we go into the menu here, we can see what level we are. We can see our challenges. So it wants us to take a look at this first. And the field guide pages is one of the challenges. And you're supposed to collect them all kind of around the castle and around the different areas outside the castle as well. And then we can claim rewards for completing that.
Keep your eyes open for more opportunities like that, inside and outside of the castle.
Cool, so now let's see where else we're going here.
Ah, good timing. Perfect opportunity to show you how to use blue flames to get around a bit quicker. Your field guide contains a map of the castle. Open it up and find Central Hall.
Alright, cool. So let's look at the map. And you can see here, there are different flue flames. And basically, you can use them to just jump from one place on the map to another. So if we go over to the Great Hall, you can see each of those represents a different flue flame. Alright, and then if we check out, this is the library. Oh no, that's not. That's the Central Hall. Oh, she unlocked Central Hall. Okay. So you can kind of rotate here to see where the points on the map are, because it's kind of three-dimensional and kind of hard to see exactly where they go, but we're going to go to this one that she unlocked for us. So the Flue Flames is, yeah, basically just a place to jump from place to place on the map. Sometimes it's fun to walk around, but some places can be, like, pretty far away from each other, so it's, a nice mechanic if you just want to, like, press through the story, or even when you're just exploring, but you want to explore a specific location and not have to go, like, totally all the way through the castle or
And here we are.
whatever.
The time saver. These stairs lead directly to Central Hall.
Alright, so
You can get
now...
almost anywhere in the castle quickly from Central Hall. Always something happening here. It's the heart of the hive, our King's Cross station, so to speak. That should be all for now. You'll be expected to attend both Charms and Defense Against the Dark Arts classes today. And I'd like to be sure you get to Hogsmeade as soon as possible to replace the supplies you lost on the way here.
Okay, perfect. So I'm not going to ask any questions right now, because
A lot to absorb on your first day.
I kind of got the gist of it.
And you have much to learn. Happily, your professors have agreed to create additional assignments for you outside of class. You'll be up to speed in no time. Judging by your adept use of Revelio earlier, I'd say Professor Fig succeeded in at least showing you the basics.
He did, Professor.
He's been terribly vague as to the events preceding your arrival, specifically about what happened after that awful dragon attack. My suspicion is that there's more to the story than a search for belongings and an extended trip up to the castle.
So at this point, you can make some choices to reply, and it changes the response you get from the characters, but there are very few choices in the game that change the overall storyline and the ending of the game, and most of those choices are actually made at the very end of the game. So there's not too much pressure to make the right choice here. It's kind of just more about playing the character you want to play. So for me, I'm going to say I'm afraid there isn't, because I'm going to kind of trust and put my Hufflepuff loyalty in Professor Fig and his request not to tell anybody what was going on.
I'm sorry, Professor, but I'm afraid that's all there is to it.
Almost precisely what Professor Fig said. Speak of the devil, Professor Fig. Your ears must have been burning.
Oh?
Yes. You seem to have provided our new fifth year with a solid foundation in the basics of spellcasting.
I'm afraid I can't take all the credit there, Professor. They've a rare aptitude for magic, it seems.
Well, I'm just glad you both arrived in one piece. Perfectly good boats and carriages to Hogwarts, and you chose to fly in the path of a dragon.
I wouldn't say I chose the dragon's path, Professor. Rather unfortunately, it would seem that it chose us.
Very well. Enough chit-chat. I need to get to class myself. Might I rely on you, Professor Fig, to explain the details of the field guide's map?
Of course.
Thank you. Good luck today. And remember to use your field guide. It will be invaluable to you. And invaluable to me, as I'll be using it to keep up to date on your progress.
Yes, Professor.
Come and find me in my classroom after you've attended both classes today, and I'll explain more about those assignments I mentioned. And we'll see if we can't get you to Hogsmeade for those supplies.
Alright, so we've got Professor Fig here. Once we talk to him, it'll kind of trigger the next part of the story, which I am going to kind of push through the first few parts of the story without exploring the castle too much, because there's a lot of things that are easier to explore after you've unlocked a few spells and things like that. So I'm not going to kind of walk around Central Hall or really any of the castle yet and show you things like those pages that are flying. Those are field guide pages, but you can't collect them until you know Accio, and things like that. There's all kinds of different side quests, if you will, like this one involving these moths that I've done on my other save file. But again, it's just a lot easier the more spells you have unlocked. So we're going to kind of play through the story for a little bit before we do some episodes where I'll just go exploring.
It's good to see you, Professor.
And you. I was hoping our paths would cross today before you immersed yourself in studies. Did I hear you masterfully evade Professor Weasley's interrogation regarding our late arrival?
Yep, I absolutely did.
I did my best, but I'm fairly certain she suspects we're not being entirely forthcoming.
Yes, well, Professor Weasley is a brilliant and astute witch. It was right to keep the details to yourself for now. We don't know where this path we've embarked upon will lead. It may require a bit more flexibility with your time than she would approve of. And she may feel obliged to share details with the headmaster that would be better left between us.
Understood, Professor.
Good. Now, as capable as you are, I believe the ability you possess obliges you to be well trained. Happily, you have the benefit of an exceptionally skilled team of witches and wizards to guide you. Speaking of guides, and so that I may avoid another not-so-subtle reproof from Professor Weasley, why don't I show you the clever enchantment we included in the field guide's map? Unfold it and have a look.
Okay, so we can track quests from the map. So let's take a look at that. So what you can see here is these yellow shield icon, or crest icons, I guess I should say. Those kind of represent the main story quests and help you progress the main story. And so you can track them from this page, and it helps you find them while you're walking through the castle, because it can be a little intimidating at first if you don't know your way around Hogwarts, and especially if you don't know your way around this Hogwarts, because it is, I would say, a little bit different than what you've seen in the films, and really complex. Like, there are a lot of different doorways and things that you could go through that look like you're going to like another main area, and they're not, or ones that are quite small but are actually the doors you need to go through to get to a main area. So it's super helpful to have this feature, so we can track a quest to begin.
The map is enchanted to help you find your way.
This will be incredibly helpful. Thank you.
Now, sounds like you've quite a day ahead, what with classes and a trip to Hogsmeade for supplies, including your own wand. You'll enjoy Mr. Ollivander. He's an exceptional craftsman and a good friend. I shall reach out when I have more information about our mysterious locket. For now, focus on your classes and pay attention. More than your owls may hinge on the magic you are able to master within these walls.
So this is a really cool plot point for me. They obviously just mentioned Ollivander and getting her own wand. And so, you know, when people think of Ollivanders, I think first we all think Diagon Alley, which is where Harry got his wand from Ollivanders. And when they first opened the Hogsmeade section in Universal, they included an Ollivanders there because, I mean, like, that's like really one of the iconic shops. So it's really cool to see that Ollivanders has a shop in Hogsmeade here as well, and that that these places sort of tie into each other. It just helps make them all, you know, when you take in all the different media and the different things about Harry Potter, it makes them feel all, you know, like they're truthful to the source material, if you will, that they're all, you know, somewhat in line with each other. So that you're not disappointed that, you know, you're visiting Ollivanders in Hogsmeade when really, you really only think of it as being in Diagon Alley, maybe. So just another cool thing that I really liked. So on the map in the bottom left, you can see that we've got a pathway now to where we're supposed to be going next. So let's go out these doors and follow the map and get to our first Defense Against the Dark Arts class. We're going to go back in these doors here on the other side. I guess I can show you this little area, though. This is the courtyard that's outside. And we've unlocked the, oh, there we go, the Flu network over there. So we can now quick jump, if you will, to this place on the map. And there's a lot of cool stuff to explore here, but you need more spells to do it. So we're going to just keep going with the main storyline, like I said. And then we'll do some exploring. I'll do some, like, episodes where we do like only side quests and only explorations and things like that along the way, because I think that that's like one of the really fun parts of the game. You could play this game for hours and still have like tons of things to do and look at. So there's something to be said for speed playing, but there's also something to be said for enjoying the game for what it is. And so I think it'll be really cool to take our time and look through everything. So this character here, Sebastian, is actually going to be really critical to the main storyline.
Perhaps you'd be good enough to blast each other to pieces on your own time. I get new students every year, but I only have one Hebridean black skull. It was a token from the Great Poacher Raid of 1878. No doubt you've heard of it. Now, you may be asking yourself how an old woman like me single-handedly took out the largest poacher ring in eastern Wales and lived to boast about it. Knowledge. To the wise, age matters very little. Today we will review a spell that has saved me from death at the hands of dark wizards more times than I care to remember. Levioso.
Levioso? A levitation charm?
Levioso! A A surprised opponent is a weak opponent. Care to defend yourself, Master Pruitt? No? One thing I've learned as an unspeakable is the value of simplicity, especially in the heat of battle. Now, let's practice what we've just learned, starting with something small.
Alright, so here we go, learning our first spell in a class environment. So this will happen a lot during the game, but it's the same mechanic as when we were learning the spells with Professor Fig in the Gringotts area.
Now, let's try something a little larger. Let us begin with a basic cast. See how the dummy deflected your cast? This time, cast Levioso first, then the basic cast.
So basically you can see
Surprised opponent is a weak opponent.
you can see the shield around the dummy, and that's
Really helped me demonstrate earlier.
basically that's going to represent a shield on your opponents that can only be broken by using a spell of a corresponding type. So for this one, we're going to do Levioso, and that'll break the shield around the dummy, and then we'll be able to use the basic cast on them.
Very good, but the best way to practice is by dueling. We'll start with you two. Duelists, take your marks.
Time for a proper Hogwarts welcome.
Now, I want a fair duel, using only Levioso, basic cast, and Protego. You may begin.
This should be easy.
So Stupefy can also break the shield if you hold down Protego to protect yourself.
Must be your first duel.
And again, I'm playing on easy, so this is going to be, you know, not very complicated right now.
Your opponent decides to attack or defend yourself.
And so by knocking him off the stage, I've ended that duel without having to lower the health bar.
Not bad for a beginner. You give as good as you get.
I put you on the spot, and you rose to the challenge. Points to Hufflepuff.
Thank you, Professor Hecat. Glad to have the opportunity to practice.
If what I've seen today is any indication, we can expect great things from you. I demand excellence from my students. They are capable of achieving it, and they must achieve it. A classroom duel is one thing, but battling dark wizards, or as ever more likely, goblins, is a different kettle of Grindylows entirely.
Understood, Professor.
So, I'd advise you to keep practicing whenever you can. Perhaps Mr. Sallow will have some ideas for you. Again, well done today. I shall reach out soon with additional assignments. All right, that's enough spectacle for one day. Class is dismissed.
So you can see it wants me to go talk to Sebastian, but I also wanted to point out, if you kind of look up by the door there, you can see like a little hint that there's a Revelio page up there. So we'll do another video where we go back and get a bunch of the Revelio, a bunch of the field guide pages using Revelio, but that's kind of what that is if you've seen it in the background while I've been walking around the castle.
Nice work.
I enjoyed that.
Well, that duel was quite something. Everyone will be talking about it.
It was certainly good practice.
Practice? It felt more like I was dueling an expert. Sebastian Sallow, by the way. Didn't expect a new student to be so deft with a wand. Then again, perhaps this wasn't your first duel.
So I'm going to be honest with him and say that I've had a little bit of wand combat, because we did attack the statues and things when we were in Gringotts.
I've dueled enough. Consider yourself lucky I held back.
Huh, fair enough. You owe me an honest duel when you aren't. You know, you might be a perfect fit for a certain exclusive, unsanctioned dueling organization.
Oh, I'm definitely in for that.
Exclusive and unsanctioned. Count me in.
Excellent. Knew I was right about you. If you want to get the most out of your time at Hogwarts, you're going to need to break the rules now and then. Whether it's joining a secret dueling club, or sneaking into the restricted section of the library, you just have to be clever enough not to get caught.
Thank you, Sebastian. I'll keep that in mind.
Good. Pleasure chatting with you. I'm sure I'll see you soon. Perhaps somewhere unsanctioned? We'll see if your performance today was sheer luck or actual skill. Look for Luke and Brattleby near the clock tower entrance, if you're interested. Till next time.
Alright, so we finished the quest, Defense Against the Dark Arts class. So we finished our first class on our first day at Hogwarts, which is pretty cool. You can see we've leveled up to level 2. Which is definitely handy because there are things that are locked based on your level, but there's also, like, your health points and things are relative to your level as well. And so when you leave the grounds, there's a lot of places that aren't inherently safe. There's a lot of dark wizards just kind of running amok in the valley around Hogwarts, and so if you like explore too far too fast, you might get caught up in things that you don't have like the proper level to really to deal with. So let's go back to the map and see what we've got. So now we've also got side quests that are available. So that's these flags up here. The darker ones will indicate that there's a side quest in that part of the castle. But my next main quest is Charms class. So we're going to go ahead and track that and make our way over there. So again, we can unlock as much as possible, as early as possible, to really enjoy the side quests and the exploring that we're going to do. Alright, so we're going upstairs in the central hall. Oh, while I'm here real quick though, you can see on the map, is it on this level or is it the level below me? It's further down, never mind. I was gonna go unlock the flu network that you can kind of see. I'm hovering over on the map, but it's actually 2 floors down, so I'm gonna skip it for now. But it's good to unlock those early too, because they can make traveling around the castle a lot faster. I mean, the castle is just huge and really well designed and just offers so much. You know, you can see the ghosts flying around causing chaos. It just really is like a really well made game in terms of that. So let's go through these doors here, and then here we go, the Charms classroom. So let's do this quest.
Behind you. There is an open seat here. Thank you. Hello, I am Nettie. So you are the new student. Have you met Professor Ronan yet?
Shall we begin? Welcome to year 5 of Charms. Now, this will be a crucial year in your education on the art of charm work. But I am confident that we will take hold with the passion and rigor requisite of such a challenge. Right? Now, everyone, please open your textbooks to page 517. But before we begin, can anyone here tell me the difference between the incantations of the color change and growth charms? Anyone? Anyone? Hmm? I am afraid it is too late to study now. My, the summer months must have really taken a toll on you all. By the looks of it, you all spent your holidays practicing Obliviate on one another. Do you even remember how to perform a basic summoning charm? Well, it seems that we are in dire need of review. Everyone get into pairs and take positions on opposite sides of the classroom. Now let's put those textbooks to use as the blunt objects you so believe they are, and take turns summoning them out of one another's hands. Only one book will be needed per partnership, Miss Dale. Thank you. Get into place now.
So this is a really good charm to know. It is, that's why it's introduced so early in the game, because it helps with a lot of different tasks that you have to do. So here we go, we're going to learn our second spell of the day.
Accio.
That is not bad.
You are a swift learner. I see a lot of potential, but remember, potential is nothing without practice. Keep at it. You might just rival Miss Onai here. Very good, everyone. That's enough of that. Well, as you all seem to have the basics down, and it is an exceptionally lovely day, I was thinking that we might have ourselves a little excursion outside for a spot of fresh air. After me.
So now we're going to go play a game that uses Accio to, it's kind of like reverse shuffleboard. You have to pull the game pieces closer to you using Accio as opposed to pushing them away from you. And the closer you get them to you without falling off the edge of the game board, then the more points you get. So we'll see if I can do that quickly. Sometimes I've had to play this one once or twice because it's not hard, but it's not easy either.
The Quidditch players amongst us would agree. So, what better than a bit of sport to put our prowess with the summoning charm to the test, right? So why don't we have our newest student start us off? Very simply, cast Accio on one of the spheres and relinquish your charm at the last possible moment.
So you can see that by turning the camera or moving, I can decide which one I want to pull towards me first.
You are summoning them toward you. The trick is to pull the sphere as far as possible.
So,
Splendid!
oh, please don't fall off. Oh, the first one fell off. Okay, so I pulled it a little too far before letting go. Oh, that one went all the way off. Okay. Oh, that one's gonna go off too. That was terrible. I don't know how I did that so badly.
Good. Points to Hufflepuff.
But apparently he's happy with it, so that's fine.
Sport in playing without some friendly competition. Miss Onai, would you care to give our new student a bit of a challenge? Come on up. You'll be the blues just as before, and Miss Onai, you are playing red. Clear?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so this one I actually have to try on to make points because you're playing against Natty. Okay, so I'm gonna try to summon this one and maybe knock her off the board, maybe? Okay, well, at least we're both in the same for points right now.
There we go.
Okay, let's try that again and see if we can knock her off the board. No, but at least we're still tied. That's good.
Impressive.
Okay, so now I don't want to knock myself off the board, but maybe bumpers off. Oh no.
Not to worry. Let us make this a bit more interesting, shall we?
Okay, so we lost the first round. And now he's got some blocks that are going to go back and forth, so...
Interesting at this point.
I'll say.
Enough chatter. Focus now. You will need it. This round settles it all.
Here we go.
That is how it's done.
Don't fall off. Oh no. Okay, this is going to be difficult to come back from. I told you this is not the thing that I'm best at in the game. I'm definitely way more comfortable like flying and doing other stuff like that, so... Okay. Let's see if we can knock hers off and stay on the board. Oof, not quite. Okay, I'm gonna try really hard to knock this one off the board. We'll see. Ah, no, I just bumped it into the next category up, so she's still gonna win. I don't remember if it makes you replay this one or not, based on the outcome of the game.
Very good, both of you. Well done.
Okay, now I guess it lets you get through, but there's a side quest later that involves playing this summoning game, and you have to like basically beat each opponent along the way to beat the side quest. So there is another more high stakes version of this that we'll play at some point, I'm sure.
Gather your things on the way out.
Well done back there. You took the loss in stride. Didn't want to go too easy on you. Took me weeks to become proficient with Accio. Took weeks for me to get anything right when I transferred here. It gets easier, I promise.
So Natty is a really nice person and like a really sweet character,
It's a
so
lot to take in all at once.
To put it lightly, I remember how I felt when I first arrived. I transferred here from Wagadu just before my 4th year. My mother received an offer to teach divination here. Before I knew it, we had left Uganda and were halfway around the world at a new school in a new country.
So there is really a lot to learn from the side characters that is really cool. So I'm gonna go ahead and play through some of the chat tree so you guys can hear some of the
Is Wagadu much bigger than
information.
Hogwarts?
Wagadu School of Magic is the largest wizarding school in the world. So yes, bigger than Hogwarts. But it never seemed intimidating or overwhelming to me. It always felt like home.
Is Wagadu a castle like Hogwarts?
Its address is Mountains of the Moon. It is not so much a castle as a beautiful edifice carved out of the mountainside. I remember the first time I saw it, the mist was so thick I could hardly make out anything at all. And then it just materialized before me, this enormous school that seemed to be floating in midair.
This may seem an odd question, but is magic the same there as it is here?
Mostly, yes. But I did have to learn how to use a wand when I arrived here. Hardly anyone at Wagadu uses one.
So that's pretty cool.
You can cast spells without a wand.
Oh, yes. I find wandless magic to be much more instinctive. Not to mention quite convenient if one is without their wand. I must admit, however, that I am growing quite fond of using a wand. It seems very dramatic.
It's nice to learn about another wizarding school.
Thank you for asking. I do miss Wagadu, but I am glad to be here at Hogwarts. Ah, I think Professor Ronan wants to talk to you. Better not keep him waiting. Until next time.
Alright, so let's go talk to the professor real quick to wrap up this class.
If you're so inclined.
You wanted to speak with me, Professor?
I did. I trust your first charms lesson lived up to expectation?
Well, an outdoor competition wasn't exactly the lesson I was expecting, sir.
What charm is there in the expected? Miss Onai is a talented witch. Take it in stride. One often gains the most from the battles one has lost.
Of course, Professor. It was a challenging match.
Miss Onai is always a fierce competitor, though I sense that she is a bit distracted of late. Now, Professor Weasley has asked that your professors give you instruction outside of the ordinary curriculum. Expect to hear from me soon regarding a special assignment that I am preparing for you.
Awesome, so we finished that quest. Gained some more experience points. And then...
Hello there. You're the new student, aren't you?
if we go into our field guide, we can now see that we finished some more of the game challenges. So we've started on the quests, and you're definitely going to want to redeem all of these rewards. So we just completed 2 main story quests, so now we've got to complete 4 to get the next reward. And then if we go to the field guide pages, we saw this earlier, but it hasn't, we've only got 1 out of 2, so we got to collect another one of those before we can collect the reward for that. Then if you keep an eye on quests, you can see this is kind of the box that's like your main chapter, if you will, of the story. And so this one is attend your first day at Hogwarts. So we started our first day, we went to Charms, we went to Defense Against the Dark Arts. And then down here you can see we've got a side quest for Crossed Wands, which is the dueling club that Sebastian was talking about. But we don't have to do that right now to progress the story. At some point, some of the side quests do require you, are required for you to finish before you can do more storyline stuff. But you'll see we've got these 2 sections here that are just question marks. But I think if we back out of this, we'll get an owl in a second, which will be like a little letter that will tell us what to do next. Also, you can see that floating page. I can do Accio now. No, maybe. There we go. And collect field guide pages that way. Oh, also a super fun thing you can do in this game is pet cats. So you can just like walk around and say hi to cats. There's a bunch of them walking around Hogsmeade and around the castle and stuff. It's just like the cutest little thing that you can do. I love that. They add like all these little things that you can do. Let's see. I could have sworn that they send you an owl at this point that says like what you're supposed to do next. Oh, there we go. It updated our quest. It just takes a minute. So Weasley after class. So now you have to go talk to Professor Weasley in her like right outside her Transfiguration classroom, and basically once you talk to her, she's going to reveal this last section on the list, which is actually to go to Hogsmeade and replace all of your school supplies. But I am going to stop here for this video so that we can explore Hogsmeade a little bit in more depth as we go get our supplies in a separate video. So I am going to leave it here for today. Make sure you guys go and subscribe and like the video so that you can follow along as I create more of them, and follow us on Instagram at h.wizardwares and on Etsy, where I am making custom handmade wand holders for cosplay and for interactive wands and all that kind of stuff, as well as selling some shop merch, which kind of helps support the whole process of making the other wand holders. So, you know, check it out if you can. It's hwizardwares.etsy.com, and again, our Instagram is at h.wizardwares, and I look forward to seeing you guys in the next video. Thanks.